All right, and now we're done with movie news and trailers. Kind of went fast with this one because we wanted to focus on the movie review, and that is for movie a lot of people have been looking forward to, Suicide Squad. Why don't you tell them what it's about, Jim?
Well, Suicide Squad's pretty simple. Most of you guys should know. It's a group of supervillains in the DC universe that all team up from the government agency that grabs them all together, and they go out to stop the next Superman, as they say. And you got lots of good supervillains in this movie, most notably Deadshot and Harley Quinn. Lots of others as well, Killer Croc, some other ones. They all team up. And overall, this is a great concept, obviously. This is based off a comic, or comic series, actually. And going in this movie, I think a lot of people were pumped. You know, we hadn't just seen a villain movie, and it looked fun. It looked, a little bit dark here and there, a little bit funny here and there. Kind of a perfect blend, and I was really excited for this movie. And unfortunately, as many people are saying, and I would also agree, it didn't probably live up to the expectations that many people were expecting.
Yeah, I was also excited for this movie mainly because of the trailers, because the marketing team knocked it out of the park with this one. Those trailers were fun, they were exciting, the music was great, like all the little posters and everything got me really excited. Even though I didn't really like Batman v Superman, I was like, but Suicide Squad's gonna be the one that'll get them back on track, it'll be fun. And man, this movie sucked for me. I hated this movie watching it because, first of all, I'm just kind of into these. They get them all together. They get all these Suicide Squad members together to fight the next Superman. And if you don't know the villain yet, you can skip a little bit. But the villain they're fighting is Enchantress. She's one of the worst villains I've ever seen in a comic book movie. I didn't know what she was doing. She was hula dancing in this movie. There was no reason. They blew it on this villain, honestly. I didn't know why she was there. She wasn't even in the movie. I think she spent an hour shooting a blue beam into the sky while the villains messed around in the streets.
Well, I think the funniest part of this is how ironic was it that, they got this whole group together kind of on standby, ready for the next thing, and then all of a sudden Enchantress shows up and we get, the main climax of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of stupid, I'm not gonna get into too many spoilers, but pretty much, Enchantress, they basically know that she's dangerous. She's kind of the off member that's not quite a member of the Suicide Squad. And, she goes, as many would expect, goes on a rampage and goes,
CGI rampage.
Yeah, and goes bad, in other words. But yeah, he's definitely the weakest part of this movie was definitely the villain. I think any movie, especially superhero type movies, a villain can make or break the movie. Unfortunately, this one definitely had that issue. However, believe it or not, I don't know if he'll say everything that I'll say, but there were some good moments in this movie, no doubt about it. I mean, there were some cool moments that I think I was waiting to see on the big screen, whether that was Deadshot and his, interesting backstory. Harley Quinn, I think, was played really well. But the other thing in this movie that we have to know is the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
The Joker, no doubt about it, excellent villain. No, we all love the Joker.
Yeah, historic villain.
And, we saw, the trailers, Jared Leto. I think a lot of people were starting to grow on him. We were like, okay. And in this movie, they definitely take a different take on the Joker than we've seen before. This is not, Heath Ledger. This is not Jack Nicholson. This is, it's nowhere near any of those. It's a very different take on the Joker, which is a good thing, I think. But at the same time, he just wasn't in the movie quite enough. About 10 minutes in this entire movie. And I think, in many ways, if he was the main villain of this movie, things could have definitely been different. But yeah, they kind of had this little side plot with the Joker.
That's so unnecessary.
Yeah, it either shouldn't have been there or should have been more of it, or, should have been the main focus. Regardless, that was definitely interesting and not my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah, for me, just when this movie started, I knew I was going to be in for a long one because it started off with a 15-minute music video with 3 of the newest hit pop songs playing while we got introduced to Deadshot and Harley Quinn. And this movie, it felt like it was made for a 13-year-old, and that was confirmed for me when my 13-year-old cousin texted me and said this was one of the best movies he's ever seen. I was like, you're kidding me, because this movie is full of bright colors and cool songs, but again, the characters they only focus on Deadshot and Harley Quinn. And I thought Deadshot I enjoyed him. He was the only character I laughed on because they gave him a backstory with his daughter. Thought that was really well done, and I cared about him. I thought Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was good, but I didn't think she got enough to do. Besides just I don't know, be crazy sometimes. But everyone else in the squad was totally not existent. Like they were just there to be there and once in a while punch a CGI creature running towards them. Like there's beats in this movie that characters have, then the next scene they come back. Like somebody leaves and comes back and they do this and that, and it's just at about halfway point in the movie they go into the city and then that's it. That's the rest of the movie. They're just walking around while Enchantress is shooting a blue light up into the sky.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would agree with most of that, except for there were two characters I think that also either could have been taken more advantage of or something of that nature. You talked about first Captain Boomerang.
He could have been taken more advantage of.
Definitely,
but was not.
definitely.
He had the only parts in this movie I laughed at.
Yeah, he definitely had some funny moments, and I definitely enjoyed that. Surprising in most ways.
He was in it for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And then what's the fire guy's name again?
Oh, El Diablo.
Yeah, there you go. Now, okay, I think overall, I would also say this guy gets a bad rep too, because I did like the portion about, how he wasn't using his powers and why he wasn't doing that. They had a little bit good backstory there. They could have put that earlier in the movie.
Yeah, okay, they put that in when they're all sitting in the bar. Enchantress is still shooting a blue beam up in the sky. I don't care what's going on. You don't want to work for the government. The world is still probably going to end, and you're sitting there giving us this backstory. The whole time I'm sitting there is the world gonna blow up? We're all just taking a timeout while she's still going.
Yeah,
that takes a long time for that portal to fire up. I didn't even know what she was doing. She just kept talking about this machine she was building.
Well, okay. Well, another part I really liked about this movie was I definitely prefer the first little act with kind of before we even got to the backstory. I liked the portion where they kind of showed all of them in the prison. And the one prison guard I thought was really funny. I think that the little interactions with him and the different villains I think was pretty funny. I think that was kind of where the movie was really good because we got kind of exactly what we wanted. We got that look on the take on the villains and how they were treated and how the people were treating them very aggressively, and then they bring them all together. I think that portion was really good. It was when they actually tried to do something with these characters, which kind of was very, very rough and rocky, let's say that.
Yeah, they had nothing to do with them. They just threw them in the city for the last hour of the movie. And again, the Joker's subplot comes in and it's totally I think they cut a lot out because it made no sense. He spent most of the movie texting and where they should have been showing stuff. And just they have nothing for them to do. They're just running around hitting CGI creatures, going in another place hitting CGI creatures. Again, this whole time it's been an hour and this portal is still not finished, whatever Enchantress is doing with her CGI brother. And then the climax of this movie, I had Fan 4-Stick flashbacks from last year. I don't know if you saw that movie. But, man, the way this all goes down in the end, I was like, this is horrible. It turned into more CGI like the end of Batman v Superman, big CGI things hitting each other. And it just resolved in a way that I was like, really? That's it? That's how you're going to send us off?
Well, I will agree. I think Batman v Superman made, the fighting scenes in that movie were so much better than this movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Batman v Superman is a Best Picture contender compared to this movie. Somehow that movie, I liked that movie more and it made more sense than this movie, which I would never thought I would have said. That movie makes sense now, Batman v Superman. It tells a real story. This has no story. It's barely a movie.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, that first section, if they would have done something different, something different.
They could have kept that tone.
If they made, again, the Joker kind of a more focal point.
He could have been the villain. Easily he could have been the villain.
Or they just brought in someone else. And the other part I gotta also kind of note is kind of the backstory with Harley Quinn and the Joker. I thought some of that was actually kind of well done. I liked how, it showed how he slowly started to change her into, the Harley Quinn we know today. I thought that was kind of good. Like I say, there was plenty of little moments sprinkled in there that really kind of made you say, hey, I've seen that, you know, in a cartoon, or I've read that in the comics, and I've been like, and I've always wanted to see it on that big screen, and we finally got some of those moments. However, it was just, it was just ruined all by this climax you were just talking about.
Yeah, I was totally checked out by the time we were getting Harley Quinn and Joker. It was just randomly thrown in whenever they were tired. They knew we were getting tired of them hitting CGI things. They'd throw in a little backstory. But again, it just leads me to why were they on this mission? What was the point of all this? They literally just made this movie. And it's fine if, like, Deadpool didn't have a very complex plot, but his character was so good that we liked spending time with him. I didn't like spending time with these people because aside from Deadshot would make a cool move every once in a while and we'd get Harley Quinn's backstory, but everyone else, we were just seeing him punch stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think definitely it was a stupid plot because of the fact that, you know, they get all these guys together to stop the next Superman. Okay, you know, that's awesome or whatever. But then randomly, again, we get this Enchantress that just pops up, mainly because they don't know how to control her.
Her
you know?
ties to the squad, not without spoiling it. It's so, I didn't buy it at all. I was like, that's the dumbest thing you could have done. The way she is attached to them and gets loose and everything. I was just like, come on.
No, I definitely agree. I don't think that part was... Another moment I think also, though, that wasn't taken advantage of. I think there was plenty of moments in this movie where they just held on a little bit longer. They could have done a lot better with a lot of the moments in the story. But yeah, I think overall I was definitely disappointed with this movie. But however, there was lots of good moments as well. I didn't hate it as much as you. I still enjoyed it. However, yeah, I definitely think I was disappointed by the end. You know, I wasn't like, yes, you know, this was exactly what I was looking for. No, I was more like, okay. Yeah, honestly, at the end of this movie, and I still agree at this point, I still don't really know how to think of this movie. I honestly just say, meh. You know, it was just like, there were some good moments, but a lot of bad as well. And so I don't really know, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I did know when I saw this movie during the end credits, when Hot Topic was exploding during the end credits, I just was like, I had this sour taste in my mouth and I'm just starting to finally get rid of it. I just want to be done with this movie. Again, this movie, I respect Batman v Superman for telling a real story now because this I can barely qualify as a movie because it just felt like we started off with a music video with fun colors and lights, got into the dull plot, horrible villain, Fantastic Four worthy climax, and I just didn't get into this thing at all. I'll start off the scoring here because I think I'm going to set the bar low. I'm going to go 3 out of 10 for this movie. This is easily the worst movie I've seen this summer. I haven't seen a lot of bad movies though. I've mainly been going to movies that I'm excited for. I've been skipping like Independence Day 2 because I'm like, I just want to see these good movies that I'm excited for, and this one really disappointed me because I thought it was going to turn the DC extended universe around.
One more moment I had to mention in this, how they used Mr. Bruce Wayne / Batman himself. Yeah. You know, I gotta say, I actually liked it. I don't know about you.
I would have liked it, but he was in it for like, I forgot he was in the movie.
Well, to be completely honest, you know, I was expecting that, and...
if they had shown it, they only do him though for Deadshot, and if they'd shown it for all the characters, I could have gotten on board with it, but again, they just brought up the 2 characters that everybody's know and threw everybody away.
Well, okay, but I'm also going to get to another section.
This review is not over.
No, I'm also going to say, okay, so I definitely think Batman's thing was awesome with Deadshot, and it just makes me more excited for a Batman standalone movie, yet alone the Justice League. I think, honestly, that was more exciting to me than the actual movie. Seeing Batman, I think he was great, but... You know, say what you want.
No, I really just want the Batman movie.
And then also, I'm not gonna spoil the moment, but Zack Snyder does direct a scene in this movie that involves, you know, somebody that we have seen before in the DC universe. And I also thought, to be honest with you, that was also very well done and unexpected. I was like, wow, you know, I'm getting excited for this. And so there's a good little sprinkling of some interesting characters, and of course the Joker, but I think all of these people, if they're used a little bit better, I think you'd be totally right. I think if they did kind of a backstory of each character and they kind of showed how each one was caught instead of just the main 2 or even 3 in this case, as you'll find out. But but as I said before, yeah, if somebody locked him up, even if it was just somebody another superhero or Batman, it would have just been made this movie a little bit more interesting.
Oh, and they keep calling themselves a family by the end of this movie. Like, you guys aren't a family. You guys have been out for yourselves the whole time. Like, people are trying to escape. Then at the very end, they try to make it seem like, oh, I'm not losing my family. Nope, not my family. I was like, shut up. This is you don't like these people.
Well, I'll go ahead and give my score now. I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10.
Oh, same score. So you liked it the same as Batman v Superman?
You know, there was enough in here that I did enjoy.
I don't like Batman v Superman, but now I'm a defender of that movie all of a sudden. What have you done to me, Suicide Squad?
Hey. So yeah, I'll go ahead and give my score for Suicide Squad. I'm gonna go ahead and give the movie a 4.5 out of 10. Didn't quite like it as much as Batman v Superman. This movie had good moments, but however, it had a lot of bad. Same with Batman v Superman. However, I ended up enjoying that movie a lot better.
Same. I thought, like, Batman v Superman I was very underwhelmed by, but I'm more of a fan of it now because of this movie, because I thought that movie was very messy and didn't tell a good story, but compared to this, that one told a great story. But again, this movie, a lot of fans are loving this movie and stuff, and I think as long as you're able to acknowledge, if you go in saying this is not going to be a good movie, but I can have fun with it because I love these characters, then you can really enjoy this movie. You just have to lower your expectations from a film standpoint, but if you love the characters, you're a big DC fan, I think obviously you're going to like the movie.
Yeah, characters were done well. I'm excited to see more of them, especially the Joker. Honestly think, we just didn't get to see enough of the Joker, and I'm excited to see how they use him in the rest of the movies later on. So we'll see, but there are definitely a lot of good characters in the movie except for Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress was a dud, and I definitely will look forward to seeing more of the Joker. Have really mixed feelings on him because I only got to see him for so little time, and it's just not the Joker I'm used to, of course. But I think, yeah, like you said, this movie, I think it's unfortunately another misfire for DC, not money-wise, of course, but just as far as like critical response and people like just kind of coming around saying it wasn't that good. But I think they are just slowly like setting the tone for their big movies, and hopefully those hit so we can look back and say these were just like a slow setup for a big payoff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of the J&J Reviews show. Let us know down below what you thought of all the news and trailers we discussed today, as well as Suicide Squad. Were you a big fan of it? Did you have fun with it? And are you still looking forward to more DC movies in the future? J&J Reviews,
Sign out.